So here I'm popping off the bearing shields. I don't like to use the same shields, so I got some new ones. When you pop the shields off, you just slide the bearings on the bearing cleaning kit from Bones, put the spacers in between them. Then I like to add Sonic bearing cleaner. You can use dishwasher soap too, but you just gotta wipe them really well, and I'll show you how to do that. I like to shake the bearings until all the dirt's out to where they could spin freely, and if most of the bearings can't spin, I dump the water out, and then I repeat the steps that I just explained. And I just like changing the water, adding more soap, and shaking the bottle as hard as I can until every single bearing can spin freely. And at this point, they don't have to spin fast. I just want it to the point where all that dirt just gets out of the bearings. And you'll see the water will get cleaner and cleaner every time. And that's a good thing, because you're getting all that grease and grime and dirt out of your bearings. And here you could see every single one of them spins, and this is exactly what you want. And I like to use compressed air and just give it a good spray down to dry it somewhat. But I like to dry mine completely. And I'm cleaning out my little tray because I didn't realize how much dirt and hair was in there. But you pop off the ball cages very gently. And you just pry them off each one. And as I was doing this, I seen they were really dirty, so I let them soak after I got them all out. You move all your ball bearings to one side, and you press on the middle inner race, and it completely comes apart. And when you do that, I like to wipe the inner race, or this one's outer race I'm doing right now. Wipe it completely dry, get all that oily residue out from the soap. I do it to the inner race as well. I don't really worry too much about the small ball bearings. You can wipe them off with your fingers, honestly. And I'm just doing it for every ball bearing, and I'll show you exactly what I do. So you move every ball bearing to the side, and like I said, you press the inner race, and then it just completely gets disassembled. And wipe the inner and outer races really good. And then once you do that, you put one ball bearing down, and you keep that inner race held together, and you just keep adding all the ball bearings until for this one it's 6 bearings. I'm cleaning Bone Super Swiss 6 bearings right now for one of my buddies. And you just do that for every single bearing. And I've got as much residue as I could out of these ball cages. I let them soak in soap, and I seen they didn't really work that well, so I used a toothbrush to get the remaining residue out. And you put it right behind the bearing, and you gently move each ball bearing into its designated position, and it'll click right in place. Make sure it spins too. Do it for every single bearing. And I have brand new bearing shields straight from Bones. Definitely recommend not reusing your shields. At least I don't anyways. And I use Bone Speed Cream. You can use you could use Bronson ceramic oil. You can use silicone oil, but do not use WD-40. That is a water deterrent. It'll just make your bearings more sluggish and really slow. I don't know why people add WD-40 to their bearings in the first place. When you replace shields, make sure they're seated on correctly where the bearing could spin freely. Do it for every bearing. I like to wipe all the dirt and stuff that was on the board, on the trucks. I like to wipe it down completely, wipe it down really good. Why? I don't know. I just like to. But yeah, again, do not use WD-40 on your bearings. It will make them even more slower than faster, especially if they're already dirty. And if your bearings are dirty, don't just add lube, because that's not going to do anything. It's going to make things worse. And you're going to oh, these bearings suck, when they actually really don't suck. And here's how you put your bearings on without a bearing press. You can use your weight, both sides of the wheel, put the bearing down. Make sure it's seated properly. And then the second bearing will go on really easy. Put the spacers in. I like using spacers. Some people don't, but I like to. Just makes the bearings work a lot better. Could be placebo. I don't really care what people think. I like to. And I like to wipe the when you lube your bearings, sometimes when you spin them too much, the excess bearing lube will come out and it'll be on the shield. I like to wipe them down just so it doesn't attract dirt. But yeah, dude, again, I'm gonna say this a million times. Do not use WD-40 on your bearings. And when you clean your bearings, initially they're gonna spin super fast without lube, just being dry. You're like, oh, these are so much faster. No, do not do that. Your bearings will get super rusty and get really sluggish, and a whole bunch of bad things could happen. Your ball cages can melt. I know, because I've done that before, and yeah, it's just not a good day. And I've used silicone spray, just normal silicone spray before, and it does a decent job. But yeah, here's the end of the video.